Jonas for those kind words of opening remarks, letting us know what this is about and what it took to actually get to this point. So, inshallah, without further ado, it is my great honor to present our first speaker of the evening. Mohamed Doli was born and raised actually in Wajir, Kenya, first Somali-Canadian lawyer. He is married with children. He has a BA in social science from York University and a juris degree, which is the first law to practice from University of Windsor. Mr. Doli is a member of the Law Society of Upper Canada and the Law Society of Kenya. He is also the president and founder of Doli Law with locations in Toronto, Ottawa, and Nairobi, Kenya. So please join me in giving him a warm welcome as the first speaker of the day.
Assalamu alaikum. Marka ugu hore waxaan mahad u celinaa Ilaahay oona sii fursadda galabta halka isku keenay. Second, waxaan again mahad u celinaa dhalinyarada arrintan isku soo dabareediyay, waqtigooda hurtay, maskaxdooda hurtay, not for personal gain, but for community purpose. Now, I am going to speak English because whatever I'm going to say is designed and aimed at under 35 young people, who I'm sure most of you do struggle to understand Somali. I do come background as you, growing in a diaspora where Somali language is not spoken. So my younghood, as a kid, as a teenager, I grew up in Kenya, where I did not speak English most of the time. So I share that aspect of not being very fluent in your own mother tongue. Now, I'm going to bore you because I'm going to say a lot of things that you don't want to hear, or maybe difficult to hear, because I'm going to share my experience with you as a lawyer in Canada. And that is what is awaiting for you ahead. And what makes me very happy is you coming together under the guise of awakening to the reality that's ahead of you. That is the most significant, and that's why I'm here today. Although I had a very difficult lower back situation since last Sunday. Now, things has not been quite easy for me to be a lawyer on several aspects. First, as a person with physical challenges, as a person who is colored, as a person who is a Muslim, and as a person who speaks English with an accent. So combine all this together and things that can be quite obstacles in reaching your goals. Although you may have quite excellent aspect of mental soundness and judgment. But those attributes that I have just said are things that are quite discouraging a lot of times. But more so, and which is the elephant in the house that a lot of you may not understand today, is our own community. I have confronted a lot of obstacles in my career, and I have been able to put them at my back by and large. But the difficult for me to deal with was, in fact, my own community. what I will call reverse discrimination. As a lawyer, I'm less discriminated by whites and browns than my own community, the Somali community. Not so much of tribal per se, but they don't even believe in my ability, and they don't believe in any Somali's ability. I have dealt with a situation where a Somali mother refused to attend a class taught by a Somali teacher. Now, really, you have all these young people, you have these aspiring doctors, you have these aspiring lawyers, knowing what Canada is, and Canada is a very racialized society in terms of institutions, in terms of economics, in terms of employment. If you don't have confidence in the Somali dentist, if you don't have a confidence in the Somali lawyer, if you don't have confidence in the Somali engineer, if you don't have confidence in the Somali lawyer, who will have confidence in the Somali lawyer or the Somali doctor or the Somali engineer? Who will? And what do you want for your kids? What I'm saying to people of my generation, not under 35. Under 35, here is one thing I'll tell you. If you read my article in my website, I say, my destiny is in my hands. No one else. With the substantial physical challenges, with the substantial reverse discrimination, with a substantial institutional discrimination, I have made to the pinnacle of my career, to the extent today that I have 2 centers of Doli law in Canada, expanded to Kenya, and now hopefully in 2 years down the road, we will be in Edmonton. I have achieved that because I believed in myself and refused to be defined by anybody else. And you know where I got that from? That stamina? From my mom. That woman who is 76 years old today, who does not write, does not speak a word of Swahili, does not speak a word of English, taught me one thing. Number one, you are Somali, you are the best. She told me, I belong to the best breed in the world. And deeply, sincerely, I believe that up until today. And I'll tell you a small story. When I came to this country in my 20s, went to college, and the first assignment, I did not have anyone to do my presentation with. Everyone was running away from me because I had afro, I had big Somali accent, and people thought I was a fool. So every student was running away from me. So I did my first presentation alone. And then we did some examinations, some tests, some papers and what have you. And in each paper, I had an A. So from, being from Africa, I put my paper on my desk without turning the paper upside down, so people can see my marks. Because in Africa, we don't hide nothing. So people will see that my paper, oh yeah, you got A. In a kind of surprising, shocking way. And I tell them, yes, I did. How did you do this? And believe me, inside me, I was saying, is this person an idiot? Don't they know that I'm a Somali? And believe me, by the second presentation, everyone wanted to be my partner until I finished that course. Wallahi, everyone wanted to be my partner every test, every presentation. So, when I tell you you belong to the best breed in the world, that is how it is. And let no one else take it away from you. I have a message for people of my generations, because I have dealt with them in every level, to among the highest in the Somali government, to truck drivers, to the unemployed, to mothers, every level. Somewhere between the 70s, people who are at 70 today, and people of my age today in their 50s, in that gap, something happened to our community, our Somali people. Because my mother's age believe in themselves, the Somaliness and the special breed. But people in my age, somewhere got distorted in their minds. I don't know whether that was the poison of colonization. Inferior. I'll give you an example. 3 weeks ago, I came here for discovery. I had a client, Somali woman, who I took her case, because when I took that case, I said no one else will understand her. Because she did not even know when her injuries occurred. And in this country, if you don't know dates and time, you're a liar. You can win. But for me, knowing a Somali woman of my age, time and date is nothing. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. A white lawyer will not understand that. But I do, because that's me. I see myself in that woman. That's how I took her case. And when I went for the discovery, she pulled me and she told me, hey, you know what, Mohamed, every friend of mine, every relative of mine tell me, why did you retain a Somali lawyer? White lawyers will give you hundreds of thousands. And I say, sister, mal belongs to Allah. No white man or black man. If you are a Muslim and you believe in your deen, it's only God who can give you money. But one thing I can guarantee you, I will fight for you and protect your dignity. And ensure that no one will see you down. even when you don't speak the language, you don't know the dates, and you cannot articulate as much as people who are well trained do. That's one thing I can guarantee I'll do for you. But to cut a long story short, under 35 years, please, I want you to know, it's the best time for you to be lawyers and doctors and engineers and teachers, because Canada is changing. Canada is no longer white. America is no longer white. We are now a very diverse community of communities. You go to Toronto today, you will think you are in Nairobi or in Mogadishu or in Abuja or in Bombay. Very beautiful. And the reason why I say that is when I was joining the law school, then the treasurer of the Law Society, who was of an Southeast Asian background, told us that he used to work for a firm in Calgary, and he was the best lawyer in that firm, but he was in the back room. He will not be in the front to meet clients, because that will offend the clients of that company, that firm. Today, it's not like that. Today, Canada has changed. It has changed for the better. It's the best time for you to be lawyers, doctors, and teachers, particularly lawyers. Now, most of the bench now, or judges, are women. And most of the top lawyers are women. So Somali women, under 35, you have already showed us the challenge, the successful challenges that you have undertaken. You have superseded your male counterparts. So I want you to have your eyes on law, because that's where there's power. My colleague knows what I'm talking about. When I call the office of the Prime Minister and say, my name is Doli, I'm a lawyer in Toronto, could please someone call me? People call me when they're trembling. They do, because they don't know what I'm coming up with. That much we are powerful, that much we need as many lawyers as we can in our community, and doctors. If you look at my article in my website, I ask, and that time when I wrote, I was the only lawyer and there was no physician. And I say, what happened to medical schools and law schools? Where are my community? Alhamdulillah, today things are changing. There are a number of lawyers, a number of young people have contacted me for internship. And I'll tell you something, I'm on my way out to retire soon. But I want to leave my institutions with you people. So, with that, thank you very much for listening to my company.
Soda dale nunca oya dudura de kasoda dale. Bat kasoda dale